Forget Dracula. The real vampires are at your office, they're in your friend group, or maybe even in your own family. No cape, no coffin, just endless dramas, complaints, and that uncanny ability to leave you exhausted. Welcome to the world of emotional vampires. We're going to talk about the 5 major types and how to keep yourself safe, even without the garlic, today on Off the Couch. And welcome to Off the Couch with Dr. Greg, because growth doesn't happen lying down. I'm Dr. Greg, Cason psychologist. I'm here with producer Brian Gomez.
Happy Tuesday, you guys.
And also we have Tony Sweet on the board. Hi, Tony.
Howdy.
Well, we all know people who leave us feeling drained after just one conversation. And sometimes it's our coworkers, sometimes it's family, and sometimes it's even our own partner. These are emotional vampires, and they don't just suck your blood, they suck your energy. So today we're going to talk about emotional vampires, how to spot and block them. What is an emotional vampire? Well, as opposed to explaining it, I think we all kind of know, but I want to give 2 experts, maybe 2 actual vampire experts, who will explain about emotional vampires. The first one, this is from the show What We Do in the Shadows, with Taika Waititi is the producer, director, writer, creator of this brilliant show. And it's a show that follows, it's like a reality show that follows vampires around in their natural elements. And it truly is one of the funniest shows on television or streaming. But one of the vampires is what's called an energy vampire. So his name is Colin Robinson. He's one of the main vampires. Let's hear Colin Robinson explain about what that is.
My name is Colin Robinson, and I am what's known as a psychic vampire or energy vampire. This is my office, also known as the hunting ground. Hi, Deb. Energy vampires drain people's energy merely by talking to them.
Actual versus budget year to date? No thanks. You're going to be at that all day.
We either bore you with a long conversation.
Feeling better now. I was a little sick this weekend. Hey, Don.
Or we enrage you. In fact, you probably know an energy vampire. We're the most common kind of vampire. We are day walkers, not affected by the sun. And we are the only kind of vampire that can drain another vampire's energy. It's very cool.
Well, the next one, though, is a specific type of vampire that they differentiate on this show between an energy vampire and an emotional vampire. Let's see the emotional vampire explain what that is. This is Evie Russell, emotional vampire.
There's someone new in the office. If you get them before this place grinds them down, you get so much fresh energy. Knock, knock. Let me be the ad hoc welcoming committee. I am Colin Robinson. You're going to be hearing a lot more about me.
Oh, probably not.
Oh, no. Nonsense. People talk.
Not to me, they don't.
Look at that. Personalized nameplate, huh?
Yeah, I had it made because people don't usually remember my name.
Oh.
You have no idea how long I've been waiting to hear a kind word. Been all alone since Mother died, so.
Well, I'm just talking to you.
Talk later?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I said we would.
I'd love to chat later.
Oh, what the hell was that? I didn't get anything from her. Nothing. I think there's something weird about Evie.
Arnie, you're going to kill me, but I think I am going to change my position on the whole Q-tip conundrum that we had. Arnie, are you even listening
Colin?
to me?
Sorry. I was talking to the new girl. She told me the saddest story about her nephew, born with his eyeballs facing backwards. So can you see his brains?
I think the new girl is an emotional vampire. They're an advanced form of energy vampire. But instead of frustrating people around them for energy, they feed off of pity. There's not going to be anything left when she's done with Dave, I'll tell you that much. This whole damn office is empty.
Hey, Jeannie. Ooh, man, what's an antonym for jealous? Because that's how I feel about your workload right now.
EV. EV. Emotional vamp. Oh, hell. EV.
Okay.
E.
That was so we heard from the energy vampire and the emotional vampire, which is an advanced form of the energy vampire. And it may be hard if you're just listening. They were in a very drab office environment and just walking around talking to each other, as people often do in drab office environments, and just kind of have inane conversations. And there's these people that just drain the energy off of other people. So we have a quiz to see if we are in fact emotional vampires. Or maybe a friend of yours. But let's take the quiz for us here. How about that, Brian? Okay. And you too, Tony, you have a pen?
I have it.
Good. We have 5 questions. Number 1, when someone tells a story about their bad day, do you usually A, offer empathy and listen, B, jump in with your even worse story, or C, just zone out and wait for your turn? So it's A, when someone tells you, when someone tells you a story about their bad day, you want A, offer empathy and listen, B, jump in with your even worse story, or C, zone out and wait your turn. Okay. Number 2, at a party, are you more likely to A, enjoy yourself and mingle, B, rehash all of your problems to whomever gets trapped near you? I actually wrote to whoever, which is incorrect. Sorry. So let me go back through that. A, enjoy yourself and mingle. B, rehash all of your problems to whomever gets trapped near you. And C, pull someone aside to anyone who's near you and warn them that the snacks aren't organic. So it's A, enjoy yourself and mingle, B, rehash all of your problems to whomever gets near you, or C, pull someone aside and warn them about something bad at the party. You have that, folks? Everyone has their answer. And 3, how do people usually feel after spending time with you or this person that you know? A, are they energized and lighter? B, drained and in need of a nap? Or C, are they guilty, annoyed, or both? So how do people feel when they spend time with you? A, energized and lighter, B, drained and in need of a nap, and C, guilty, annoyed, or both. I love that one. Okay. Number 4, what's your go-to response when a friend shares good news with you? Say A, that's amazing, tell me more. B, oh, that's nothing, wait until you hear what happened to me. And C, must be nice, I'll never get that kind of luck. So A, that's amazing, tell me more. B, oh, that's nothing, wait until you hear what happened to me. Or C, must be nice, I never get that kind of luck. Okay. And 5, how often do you hear or say things like, after everything I do for you, or you wouldn't believe the drama in my life? So how often do you say those things? Like where you hold someone up to account, after everything I do for you, X, or you'll never believe the drama in my life. Do you say that rarely or never? Sometimes, or maybe even often? Or C, that's basically your catchphrase? So we have our answers, guys?
We sure do. I do.
Okay, so let's go back up. We're going to go and look through these things. Tell you what we're looking for. If you're mostly A's, you're safe. Garlic not required. You are not an emotional vampire. Mostly B's, danger zone. You or a friend might need moonlighting as an emotional vampire, or you might be moonlighting. I'm sorry. Time to reflect. And C, fangs out. You found that you are a full-blown energy drainer. Proceed with boundaries so you don't suck it off everyone you know. Brian, what would you say that you are?
Oh, I'm safe. I'm good. I was thinking about all of these things and I'm like, nope. I don't even like going out if I know somebody that is this type of person will be out or nearby or anything. Like my personal free time is valuable that I am not going to ruin it with any sort of these things, you know?
Were there any ones where you didn't have an A?
Nope.
You had all A's. Wow.
Yeah, and like I get the emotional vamp. I'm emotional, but I'm not one to like, you know, find a friend and be like, "Oh, I need to unload all this," or "I need to talk about this at the bar," or like, no. If I'm outside, it's because I want to go out and have a good time, or else I could be at home.
Okay. How about you, Tony?
Well, I mean, I could see where people would be afraid to even answer some of these.
I know. I agree with that. And I was wondering that about Brian just now.
As I went so forward with it.
Seriously. There's like no consideration, all A's.
I know. Wow, that's pretty impressive, Brian. But I don't. My thing is, I don't see number one as if you
Number one.
if you chose C, which I did. I used to be. I would offer, and I still do. But majority of the time, I just zone out. How is that emotional vampire if you zone out from them complaining?
Yeah, it's, I would say, I think those two should be reversed, actually. So if I go, when someone tells you a story about their bad day, do you usually A, offer empathy and listen, B, jump in with your even worse story, or C, zone out and wait your turn? In later consideration, I was thinking maybe jump in and with your even worse story would be the worst response. And zone out and wait for your turn is just sort of a, if you're stuck with an emotional vampire, that's a pretty good approach, by the way. If they're the type who's kind of always telling you bad things. But when someone has a bad day, this is why I gave it some thought. As a matter of routine, most people, when they tell you about a bad day, that isn't their normal thing they're telling you about. They're just coming in out of the blue and saying, "I had such a bad day. I got in the longest line at the grocery store. When I walked out of the grocery store, I stepped on a piece of gum and drug it into my car and got it all over the floor mats. And then when I got home, the grocery bag unloaded and all the groceries fell on the ground and the milk just went everywhere. And then that was the only milk I bought, so we didn't have any more milk." It's just like one bad thing after another. And in a weird way, those are kind of very relatable and amusing days because we all have those days. So when a friend tells me a story like that, I'm like, ha, ha, ha. Like, oh my God, that's terrible. And wow, like, of course. I mean, that really sucks. But if every day is that day, then I would definitely zone out. I'd be like, whatever, dude, you're always having some drama.
Yeah.
What?
No, I'm just thinking. That's not what I have to deal with. But yeah, I can see where I would just. That's the thing where I'm like, if I know somebody that's like that, I'm like, all right, I just don't want to be. I gotta go. I don't want to hear it. I don't even want to zone out. I don't want to even participate in the interaction of it.
Yeah, this might be a not great question because it depends on who's telling you about their bad day. So, I apologize for that. These quizzes aren't done with the same rigor that we would do an actual scientific test or survey.
And then I also had a question because, like, I know
These are
I feel like
Cosmo.
I used to do this also too, where like, yeah, somebody's having like a horrible day, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I had a pretty crappy day. Like, I would try to just kind of relate to them on like how they're feeling with like the shitty day that they're having.
Uh-huh.
But I know sometimes you kind of have to be cautious with that because then you also don't want to be like, oh, well, I had a worse day, you know? Like, I always try to make sure it never came off that way. But even till now, I just kind of like, okay, I'm just going to let you have your bad day. I'll tell you about my bad day tomorrow or something, you know?
That's a that's a good policy. And with the bad day thing, and we're going to talk about that with some types. Um, I think there can be room to talk about your own day. Um, it just depends again on the context of the situation.
Right.
So, okay, where are we now? Tony, where did you have? What else did you
Well,
have?
like I said, I mostly would choose C if it was somebody was a complainer, but two is A, 3 is A, 5 is A, 4. What was 4? What was the question?
What's your go-to response when a friend shares good news? Is it, that's amazing, tell me more? You know, B, that's nothing, wait till you hear what happened to me, like one-upping them. Or C, must be nice, I never get that kind of luck.
Mostly A, but in my head, not necessarily I would say it. I would be like, this person doesn't deserve that, but I won't get it.
Wait, you think, oh, this person doesn't deserve that, but I won't say a thing?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm never going to tell you good news, Tony.
I know, right?
So I'm going to go through my twisted read of these things. So you're mostly you're not a vampire either.
That's
You just
nice to
have
hear.
some nuance going on.
It's official.
I have the same things. So we're 3 non-vampires, but nonetheless, this is self-report, and self-report can be tainted. It's just like when we did Am I the Toxic one? You know, people can be toxic. And I don't doubt that although I didn't come out toxic, that I've had toxic moments. You know, I don't think it's a general thing, but I think, you know, going through my grief process here, I have certainly had some moments. I will tell you that. No question. So let's go through these answers from me because it's very telling about my personality. I just want to lay it out there. So when someone tells me a story about their day, I do typically offer empathy and listen, especially, you know, if they're having a bad day. I just, and maybe that's like over years of responding that way, especially in the client world, etc. I try to go to empathy first. I mean, always and listen. But my favorite people are actually the people that tell me about their bad day in a hilarious way. And to me, they're actually energy providing. Like they're like, oh my God, I had all these bad things happen, you know, and then, you know, I had all that whole grocery store thing. And then when I got home, there was a piece of my hair that wouldn't stay down, and I had a dinner party, you know, and it was like, oh my God. Because again, I find that quite relatable. We've all been in those circumstances, and I find that kind of amusing. For number 2, at a party, I'm more likely to definitely enjoy myself and mingle. I mean, my God, I don't want to be at a party and talk about things. I don't want to talk about problems. I don't want to complain about the party. If I don't like the party, I'll leave the party. Like I don't get someone that goes to a party to complain about the party. But then I do know people who go to parties and talk about all their problems. And what's interesting, I have a friend who's a psychiatrist, and he loves to tell people he's a psychiatrist, loves to, you know, say that, you kind of imply that he's a super expert in all these things. And then he elicits people to tell their problems, and he'll spend an hour with somebody talking about their problems at the party. And that does make him feel good, important, I guess. To me, it feels like work. I mean, no, I'm like, you know, I'd like another drink, please.
For me, it would feel like torture to try to sit there for an hour listening to somebody's problems, especially a stranger, you know?
Especially a stranger. And, you know, there are just so many, I mean, mental health professional people listening know that there's actually some violations there ethically, but if we even step aside from that, it's just not any fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to like picture like the drunk girl in the restroom crying about her boyfriend or something,
Oh,
and then you
I
run
go to the
into
other restroom.
right, exactly that.
She can cry all she wants. If there's only one restroom, then I will knock. Sorry. Is that cold? So, how do people usually feel after spending time with you? I think this was a hard one for me because how do you really know? How do you really know? How do you feel after spending time with me, Brian?
Well, people don't tell you.
No.
Oh,
I mean, they tell me. They tell me, people tell me good things, but, I'm deeply, I don't, I'll tell you what, I want to talk about me. First of all, tell me, don't ask me a question. What do you feel about around me? Seriously.
oh no, I genuinely like being around you, or else we would have never been working for this long, these
Oh.
many years, and even doing the podcast together and everything. Like I said, my free time or like my time itself, I don't like to just be miserable or like hate anything, even if it's work or anything. If I'm miserable at the job, I just can't be there. That's for me.
So are you energized and lighter, drained and in need of a nap, or guilty, annoyed, or both? Now, I know you get annoyed.
No, I'm
'Cause I-
usually
I can't-
energized
I
and
can't.
lighter,
Okay,
and I
good.
usually learn from you all the time, or even when we're doing
Oh.
the show. And I mean, yeah, I always walk away feeling like I've learned or gained or just feeling better overall.
Thank you. Wow, that's really wonderful. Thank you. I feel the same. Now, Tony, please be truthful. He can lie.
Plead the fifth.
Okay, we'll leave it there.
I'm kidding.
So,
I'm kidding.
Oh, well, I mean, it's okay. You can plead the fifth. Everyone knows what the fifth means. It means you're guilty. So no one who pleads the fifth. Every time someone says I plead the fifth, didn't Jeffrey Epstein plead the fifth a million billion times?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. We all know the score. So okay. So how do you feel after spending time with you? A, energized and liar, drained and in need of a nap, or guilty, annoyed, or both? I think my friends would say they like being around me, or they wouldn't keep coming around me. And I do enjoy being around them, and I don't even try to bolster people. I just like being around people. So that's all I have. But I will tell you, inside my head, I have a neurosis that people feel guilty or annoyed. I mean, I actually think that. Like, oh, not that they feel guilty, that actually it's me who feels guilty. Like, oh, I hope I didn't say something offensive to that person. This is like a mild form of OCD. I mean,
know.
it's like, I hope I didn't offend that person. I hope I didn't say something wrong. Hope I didn't say something off color. I never feel like someone is forced to spend time with me. I never feel that. But I do sometimes worry that I wasn't all that I could be.
And why do you feel that? Like, what in those engagements do you feel like you're a burden, or like, or
A
like
burden.
a
That's
burden?
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
or like, why do you feel like you
Brian,
said something wrong, or like, I'm just trying to figure out.
I think this goes back to early childhood, and to go back to my brother who passed recently. He was disabled, and I think that when you're a younger child, especially only a year younger of a disabled child, you often feel like a burden in the family. That's sort of your role. Like you're the person who should not have needs because the other child has many more needs. And you grow up with that role that you're supposed to be the caretaker, not a burden. And I think in many ways that accounted for me being extremely independent and looking out after myself. But the psychological damage is sometimes I feel guilty or annoyed. I mean, guilty or a burden, like that I'm not, carrying my weight. I'm not doing enough things or those types of things, which is I'm in touch with that as a neurosis. It's not like it operates my life, but at the same time, it still lives there. And it's what I try to help clients with at all times is that stuff doesn't just go away. I think a lot of people can sell books or they can sell seminars by saying, by the end of this, you will never experience this again. It's complete BS, because that's not how the brain works. The brain will never want you to forget something that helped it at one time. So when I was growing up, that helped me to fit into my family and not be a burden to my family. But at the same time, as a functional adult, that isn't very helpful. So it's a strategy my brain holds on to and tries to suggest, but that I don't have to take. And that's really the work that happens. We can't just erase our brains. This is not eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. This is actually real life. But people always want to believe that, things can be black and white. But instead of that, we can also just learn to appreciate the person that we are and all the richness of all the things that we are. And some of those are going to be negative, but some of those negative things once helped us, and they may help us again. So it's always kind of nice to have them in our back pocket, even if they're a little bit annoying. It's like having a wallet full of money in your back pocket. It's great you have all that money, but when you sit down, it kind of hurts your butt.
It's a perfect way to put it, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, number 4. What's your go-to response when a friend shares good news with you? A, that's amazing. Tell me more. I laugh. B, oh, that's nothing. Wait till you hear what happened to me. And C, must be nice. I never get that kind of luck. Tony, you said in your head it was C, right?
And this is number 4. Yeah. Well, I said, where am I at? Yes. So I said A and C.
A and C.
Yeah.
And so many ways I agree with you there, because I will be like, I could say that's amazing, but sometimes I get kind of like, fuck you. I shouldn't say that, huh?
I mean, it's a truth.
I mean, it's in my head. Because sometimes people get a little overly braggadocious. Now, if they're sharing because they feel very proud of an accomplishment, like I have a friend who gets, when she accomplishes a big grant or she, gets a big award, I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing. Like, this just totally confirms her hard work, because she works so hard, and then she gets these big scientific awards, and it's just phenomenal. So that person I feel quite genuine about. But if they were to tell me, like, every time I go on an airline, I get bumped to first class, and, I couldn't believe it. They only had red wine, not white wine. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, stop that. So, but what were you about to say, Brian?
Oh, I think I lost my train of thought, actually.
Okay, so I think sometimes my head goes there. Sometimes now, if somebody shares some good news, do I say, you'll never guess what would happen? I never try to top somebody. That's weird. Because it's their moment to shine. Let them shine for that moment. But sometimes I think it's funny when they say, oh my God, I had all these negative things happen to me. And sometimes I do think there's room to say, oh my God, what is in the air today? All I did was trip and fall the whole day. So it's like, we must be a pair. Like, you can join with somebody without one-upping them.
Yeah.
And I think that's a difference. And number 5, how often do you hear or say things like, you wouldn't believe the drama in my life, or after everything I do for you? I would say never. I honestly never say, I say that there's drama in my life. Even if when I have drama, I don't see it as drama. So I never talk about drama, and I never hold people to account. I don't keep books on what I do for people. If I do more for people and they do less for me, it's here nor there. I feel everything comes out in the wash, so I don't worry about it. What did you put, Brian? Oh, you put never or rarely. Yeah. Good. And what about you, Tony, on that?
I put rarely.
Rarely. Okay, good. So we're not emotional vampires. I think we took a lot of time talking about me, but that's how it goes. Let's talk about the 5 types of emotional vampires. Let me know if you know this person. Number 1, this is the person I have to say that I hate the very most. Number one, the martyr,
Mm.
the eternal victim, forever putting themselves last. Well, now, bullies can be martyrs. Bullies can be victims. I just don't like when people go into victim stance when they're not really a victim. The martyr puts themselves into the victim role. They assume the victim role. So they're the eternal victim. They put themselves last. They make sure everybody knows that they're putting themselves last. An example would be you ask your mom if she can watch the kids one evening. She sighs heavily and says, "Well, I guess I'll cancel my plans again. And I'm always the one who has to sacrifice, but don't worry about me. I'll be fine." Do you know Martyr, Brian?
Probably, but like I said, I hate people like that. Where I'm like, I just try not to be around that. I just
They are tough to be around.
Yeah.
So this is a person who wants you to feel guilty and indebted, even though like mom here said, you said yes, she said yes, but she wants you to pay for it.
Or is it like the people that put themselves in those stupid situations and then want you to feel sorry for them, or like listen to their complaints about how hard or crazy life is going for them when they put themselves in that?
I mean, maybe so. That's a good read because it just made me think. I did something, I volunteered for something, and then midway through volunteering, doing it, I realized this person didn't need my help at all. And this person is truly taking advantage of me. And I felt really kind of resentful and angry. And I suddenly had to go, dude, to myself, in my own head, I had to say, this is on you. You agreed to be here, to do this thing, do your time, and be done with it. And that's what I did.
You learned a lesson.
I learned a lesson. But you know what? I didn't say it to the other person because I probably should have seen the signs up front and could have put up better boundaries. But when my heart gets, melted a little bit, I sometimes do things not always in my best interest because I want to help somebody.
Oh, I know.
So the energy drain of the martyr is instead of feeling grateful, you feel guilty, defensive, or resentful. And how to block them is tell them once. This is a theme you're going to hear. Tell someone once. Do not repeat. And so you're going to thank them once. So thank you for doing this. Mom, will you watch the kids? Oh, sure. But, that means I'm going to have to cancel canasta and I'll have to stay home and I won't be able to grocery shop tonight. But don't worry about me. I know you're more important than I am. This is like hearing members of my family speak. And then then you just thank them once. Don't over apologize and don't buy into the guilt trip. Boundaries are the antidote.
Okay, lesson. I'm writing that down because I'm big on like, you know what? Fuck you then. I'm not gonna need you, and then I'll take the kids and leave, and then I'll be like, you'll never see my kids again.
Oh, you could do that. I mean, but is that really the best way?
No, but also I just don't like when people play those games either. Where it's like, oh, fine, okay, then shut up. Then I will never ask again.
Now what I do, I don't go to extremes with my family. I mean, what I found to be useful is don't do that. I asked you, you said yes. If you don't want to do it, say no. But don't.
Or just that you can't.
Yeah.
Don't like.
You can't, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
You'll find another solution.
Well, what would you call that tactic, or like how would you label that? Because I feel like a lot of people tend to do that. They'll be like, yeah, fine, but they'll play the violin and start crying while they're saying.
Well,
yeah.
we say they're being a martyr, but we call that emotional manipulation. I mean, people will say that's a manipulation. Yeah, because what they're trying to go for something there, and what they're going for is, please, give them many, many brownie points. Now you owe them big. As opposed to, I love you, I'd love to do this for you. I remember our grandma used to watch us when my mom would go do things or she'd come over and stay with us. to us as kids, it was the coolest thing in the world. Like, I didn't understand she was doing my mom a favor until I was an adult. Honestly. Because she never complained. She was wonderful to be around. And it was just exciting, for us to be around Grandma all weekend. And so, I don't know. And I'm hoping that my grandma, she's not alive to check this out, that she enjoyed it. But I don't remember my mother ever saying anything negative about it.
Dang, maybe that's why I am the way I am with this, because I remember when we would get dropped off at like my mom's mom. I don't even call her grandma because that's how annoyed I am with the way she would always behave. And she would always complain and talk noise about like my siblings, my parents, like everything that I saw it, that I'm like, you know what? I will never deal with you as an adult kind of person. And for that reason, I have no tolerance for that, I feel like. So for me, that's why I'm easy to just be like, well, you know what? Don't watch the kids then, ever.
It's very extreme, Brian. So that brings us to number 2, the complainer. Number 2, the complainer. Who they are. It's a storm cloud in human form. They always find the flaw no matter how sunny the situation. Was that Grandma or the lady who was your mother's mother?
I mean, she just always talked noise. Like, she always just had something bad to say about people or I don't know. I mean, she was a miserable. She probably still is. Sorry.
So with the complainer, you tell your coworker you're excited about lunch for a new food truck. You're like, hey, let's go. There's a new food truck out front. This sounds like me. I'm like, oh, I want to go try it. It has some cool name, or they painted it a cool color, so I think it must be good. They say, and the person you're talking to says, well, last time I ate from a truck, I got food poisoning. And the portions are always so small. And, sometimes parking's a nightmare. Oh, my God. Translation, they turn Taco Tuesday into Doomsday. We know this person, the complainer, oh, my God, can I talk about, before I even, I had someone in my life who complained constantly. But with this person, usually I can take it in an equal dose. Like if it's just a friend and they just whine and complain, I just ignore it and move on. But this person rented a space here. And this person complained constantly. And during my brother's hospitalization, I'll tell you what you get to when you're so drained and life is on the line. And it's really all you can think about. And you're really, the petty things of life are just not important. And this person complains constantly, and you do everything you can with every complaint about, that it's too cold, that they don't have the correct chair, that they don't like the way the light hits, they don't like the direction of the furniture. It's like complain. And it just goes on and on. And the too cold situation, I swear to you, I did everything I could. Like, here's a vent cover, didn't want to use it. Here's a heater, didn't want to turn it on. Here, here are all these things that can compensate, that can help. And finally, the person said, I'm not going to continue renting. Well, not even a full year, not even going to continue renting anymore. And that was unexpected and didn't make me happy, but okay. And then sent it by text. And this is a friend of mine. And I'm like, a friend sending a text saying something that big instead of like having a conversation. I can understand you want to put things in written form, but you can follow it up in written form. Like, hey, look, this is a scoop. So I was like, fine. I didn't say anything. I just let it go. Then on the last day of this person being here, I said, oh, hi, how are you? And granted, my brother's in the hospital, etc. And so I'm a little exhausted. And I said, oh, hi, how are you? And this person said, it's just so cold. It's so cold in the office. I just got up and I couldn't believe how freezing I was. I was so cold. And I said pointedly, I suppose, I go, well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, do you? And the person looked at me with shock and complete shock in their eyes and has not communicated with me since. So I don't get rude with people, but when I do, I think it comes across strongly.
I love
I
it.
still don't think that's that rude. I mean,
No.
it's facts. If anything,
It's a fact, but I was like, well, you don't have to worry about that anymore, do you? Like I cut the complaint off at the heels, or I
cut
it
the
off
cord.
at the knees. Yeah, because it's like, come on, I don't want to hear what
love that.
one more time.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, this was a complainer. So the complainer, your excitement turns to dread, even when you, when you think about being with that person. And then you block. The block move here is to acknowledge once. Yeah, parking can be tough, pivot or disengage. So if you're around the complainer in an office environment and they complain, go yeah and move on. Like just don't even, you can acknowledge the comment, but move on. You don't have to be a bitch like myself.
No, I mean, it's true because it does happen in the workplace. And I used to have a boss that would complain about everything. Like, I can't remember one time or day that there was like just nothing to complain about, that it was a good day ever.
So number 3, the one-upper. So no matter what you've done, they've done it bigger, better, worse, or even more extreme. Boy, I've had these people in my life too. Like I'm like, oh, this great thing happened to me. Oh my God, I got 4 promotions and a beer. You're like, oh, great. Okay. Give me a minute. But example is you say, I barely slept last night. Oh, you complain. You could say, this is a normal complaint. I barely slept last night. I only got 4 hours. Now, you could answer this in many ways, and they shoot back and say, 4, I've been running on 2 hours for a week. And you don't even know what tired is. That's not cool. You could say, oh my God, is it like Vampire Week? We could joke. Because we're staying up all night. You should have given me a call. Like sometimes when I've had insomnia and a friend says they've had insomnia, I always chime in, you should have called me. We could have talked. Because it's funny to me, at least, like to think like, oh my God, we're both lying there awake in bed at the same time. We could have gone out for ice cream. I don't know.
And that sounds like a good way to honestly shut them up.
To say
that you should have just called me and we could have stayed up all night, instead of them complaining and trying to one up you on the work.
If somebody's suffering, even if it's just a little complaint, go, hey, people who complain with just, once in a while, they're just kvetching. I think it's a nice word. It's a Yiddish word. It's just basically trying to, figure out the world. So, your suffering doesn't count unless they outdo it. So the energy drain is you never get empathy, just competition. Block the move, don't play their game, change the subject, and cut the comparison cord. Never comment back. Number 4, the drama king or queen. The drama king or queen. Really, everyone's a drama queen. I mean, what? A drama king? We don't need to make this. Let's talk about,
stupid.
If you're a man and you're all about drama, you're a drama queen. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. My light just went out. So, example, you ask a friend how their weekend was. They reply, you wouldn't believe the nightmare. My landlord's out to get me. My ex is stalking me, and I almost died in traffic on the way here. Whine, whine, whine. These are walking chaos magnets who thrive on crisis. And the translation is every hiccup becomes a 3-act tragedy. The energy drain is their stress becomes your stress, and suddenly you're a part of the play. So we all know the drama person, and they can be kind of amusing once in a while. I mean, someone who's very dramatic, but if they're constantly in crisis, I mean, sometimes you just want to like hang out, like
Have fun.
be
Be happy.
or even like read together. I don't know, but you can't do it around a drama king or queen or drama queen. So the block move is stay calm. Don't get pulled into their theatrics. Just turn and walk away. Like when they go, oh my God, drama, 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 drama. You're like, oh my God, wow, okay. And then you go and open up the refrigerator and get a Pepsi or something.
If you're out at a bar, though, it's a good, easy out to just be like, oh, I need to go grab a drink real quick. As soon as they
I
start
gotta
complaining, and I'll leave, you know? Or I'll walk into the circle of like that, and I'll be like, oh, my friend, and then I'll leave.
And number 5, the control freak. Who are they? They are dictators disguised as just trying to help. These are the people who want to just help you. So the example is you casually mention that you're thinking of painting your kitchen, and they jump in and say, no, 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 you're doing it wrong. The color's awful. You'll regret it. You have to hire my guy. Don't do anything until you talk to me about it. Like, you know, just they try to get in the middle of your issue. But what's interesting about the control freak is they also usually follow up. Did you do anything about your kitchen? Like, it's on their mind. I forget about other people's stuff. I mean, like that. Like, if they say they're going to do their kitchen, the only follow-up question I was going to be, oh, what color did you finally choose? Like, that would be what I'd say. Translation is your life choices are their domain. And that's what they want. And a lot of people feel this way. Do you guys know people who are like this?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So you feel second guessed and steamrolled. The block move is to calmly assert, thanks, but I've got this covered, and repeat as needed. So every time they try to volunteer, you say, thank you, I got it covered. And usually what they'll do is be a little bit offended, like, oh, okay, well, you know, here, take my painter's card anyway, or something like that. And, you know, I would say even you could say no thank you to the card, or you could take the card and throw it away. I mean, who cares? Right?
I would throw it away.
Yeah. But what cracked me up, I just have to say, is then I was home this weekend and I looked on my mom's refrigerator, and hiding behind 2 refrigerator magnets was this cartoon. This cartoon had, you got it, Tony?
I have it.
Cartoon?
Yes.
Okay. For real enjoyment, nothing beats running someone else's life. It's a picture of a woman sitting and holding up her finger and telling her dining companion, that's a dog, this. For real enjoyment, nothing beats running someone else's life. And I was shocked. So there you go. I don't consider her a dictator, but I thought it was a little bit amusing that she saw that there. So let's talk about how to spot emotional vampires. Notice how you feel after spending time with them. Do you feel energized or exhausted? That's a person. Pay attention to patterns, not one-off bad days. We all have bad days. Cut yourself a break. We all do. And we all have bad times. I have to say I'm going through a bad time right now. And do they respect your boundaries, or do they bulldoze your boundaries? And we know this person too. I remember there was a lady across the street when I was growing up, and she would just walk in our house. I mean, she was friendly, and she saw our house as an extension, perhaps, of her house, but it was a little jarring.
It's bold.
It was a little jarring.
That's crazy.
Okay, so how to block them without the garlic. This is just to rehash the theme we've said. Set clear boundaries, like I can't talk about this right now. Limit your exposure. Don't give them unlimited airtime. Don't get hooked into their emotional dramas. Protect your own energy with grounding rituals like deep breaths, quick walks, calling a supportive friend. I like that call a friend solution all the time. Like, it's good to have a friend on speed dial that you can call and go, oh my God, I need some support. I need to talk right now. That you can laugh about what's happening. I think that's very curative. And extreme cases, create distance or even cut ties.
That's my favorite.
Cut ties?
Yeah.
Do we have time for a question, Tony?
We do.
Can you hit me with one, Brian?
Okay, we'll do some listener questions. The first one. My best friend is always negative. What do I do?
If they're always negative, look, if you validate someone's feelings, it doesn't reinforce it, nor does it. It doesn't reinforce it necessarily, but it definitely just doesn't stay with you. Just go, oh man, that sucks. That's a perfect response. And if they're complaining all the time, you can later talk to them and say, hey, I notice you complain a great deal. What's that? You don't have to say that. You can just say, oh, that sucks, and cut it off and move on to the next thing. That to me would be a great solution. Just the problem is some people, they go into the role of therapist. They think that they have to help the other person feel better. That's probably the biggest mistake they can make, is going into the role of therapist. And I think that sometimes the person who's complaining is trying to pull the other person into that role as therapist. I was watching a TV show called Eastbound and Down. It's an old show from like 2010, and it's on 4 seasons. It's an interesting show, but the main character is like an extreme narcissist baseball player who's kind of a screw up in every way, shape, and form, but thinks very highly of himself. And he keeps trying to get people to bolster him up. He wants people to always tell him how great he is. I mean, how sad is that? That just shows that he doesn't truly believe it. He wants people out there to say it to him. So, what's the next one, Brian?
Okay. So the next one says, my coworker complains every single day. Should I confront them?
It's a coworker?
It's a coworker.
Yeah.
And I
no.
mean, like, I told you this, I went through it in the workplace and everything. And I feel like maybe when I worked at Fendi, I was this person. I fucking hated working there, that I complained every single day about working there.
Well, and that was a sign it wasn't a good place for you.
Mm-hmm.
And, that may be, but if the person's on an equal level of you, I would just be like, I would just avoid the person or shut them down or move on. Like, you don't have to hang out with them. It's like, oh, I'm listening to my music, or I'm working on a project. I can't, pay attention to that. But if it's a boss, as you said earlier, that's especially difficult. You could clarify with a boss, I think, like, I'm not really sure what to do. Were you just looking to just say these things and not expect a response, or do you need a solution, which I don't feel like I'm qualified to give?
That's great advice. Should we do one more?
One more.
Okay.
Real quick.
The last one. I think I might be the complainer in my group. How do I stop?
Well, if somebody says that, somebody writes that, that's a good, because that means they're aware. And awareness is the first step to any change. So if they are aware of it, then they can start taking some steps, put up some boundaries, and start monitoring the effects of what their complaints are on other people. Maybe try to limit some of their complaints.
I was going to say, what if they are aware of it and I feel like this might be a little thing that some people have that they feel like it's part of their personality or that's kind of like their thing. I don't know. How would you?
Yeah, they're pessimists. They like being right by being pessimistic, because pessimists are almost always right at times. It's like a stopped clock. Is right twice a day. Pessimists, nothing is ever 100%. So things will fail. We just don't know which things. And if a pessimist would always try to look at the negative side of things. So they like to feel more in control of their world. They like to be right more. I'd rather be wrong and hopeful
For sure.
than right and pessimistic.
Yeah. Same.
So that brings us to the end. Emotional vampires they're not just horror stories or in great TV shows like what we do in the shadows. They're around us every day. Once you learn how to spot them, you'll know how to protect your energy and maybe even notice if you've been guilty of draining others too. And if you enjoyed today's episode, or you think someone else needs it, share it with a friend. Don't forget to rate, review, and follow Off the Couch with Dr. Greg on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Links to their studies on emotional vampires. I'm not kidding. Go to the YouTube page, youtube.com/Dr. Greg. It also has a handout with the quiz, with the 5 types and what to do about it. And you can always hit us up on socials at Ask Dr. Greg. Until next time, this is Brian, producer Brian, and Tony, and me, Dr. Greg, bidding you farewell. And until next time, be present, be flexible, and be kind.